Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Woman to Woman with Joanne. Today, we are so excited to share our guest with you, Miss Ryshonda Beechem. She is the mayor of Pelahatchie, Mississippi, and she is currently running for her second term. So y'all help me welcome the lovely Miss Ryshonda Beechem. Hello, my beautiful people. As you can see, we are sitting here with the beautiful Miss Ryshonda Beechem, Mayor of Pelahatchie, Mississippi. Ryshonda, welcome to Woman with Joanne.
Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for deciding to come and share a little bit of your story with our viewers and with the world, as we are expanding to the world, right?
Hey, that's awesome.
So, Ryshonda, talk to us about where you were born and raised here in our lovely state of Mississippi.
Well, I was born and raised in Pelahatchie, Mississippi.
Awesome.
Attended Head Start and Pelahatchie Elementary and Pelahatchie High School, and I'm a graduate from Pelahatchie High School. So
Yes.
That's my home.
Awesome. Well, talk to us about your experience growing up in Pelahatchie from a little girl up till now. How has it changed? How is it different from growing up now?
Well, when I was younger, Pelahatchie has always been a hometown feeling. My grandmother and my grandmother and my aunt actually raised me and my brothers, and I was the firstborn. So my grandmother and I would often travel, downtown to the little drugstore or the grocery store, and I was the one that would possibly help the elderly people around. And it was just a safe environment for me.
Yeah.
At least at that time, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward into now, I still love Pelahatchie. Obviously, I decided to run for mayor of the town.
Yes.
By leadership of the Lord, of course. But I see things a little bit differently as an adult than I did as a child. And I think, when you grow, you start seeing things different. But I still love Pelahatchie. I always have. I remember when I started college, a few of my friends that knew, because I played basketball, I was like, oh, there go Miss Pelahatchie right there.
Yes.
So they had already given me the name even before I became the mayor. So, I love it.
Awesome.
I love it.
Awesome. Talk to us about family.
Yeah, I'm married. I've been married for, this year will be 9 years.
9 years.
And we've been together for 3 prior to that. And I have a daughter. Her name is Ramsey. And we adore her.
Awesome.
And my family, we are a strong knit family. Like I said, my grandmother, she had eight children, 4 boys and 4 girls. And all of us were close. And she taught us the value of one don't fall without the other.
Right.
So if something ever happens, everybody kind of reach out to each other just to make sure everyone's all right, or if it's something that we could do to assist or help. So we've always been close. My husband, family, that's like my extended family now. And actually, his mom is just like my mom.
Yeah.
His dad is just like my dad. His sister is just like my sister. That's how close we are. We don't really even like to say in-laws because, we've grown to be that close, and it's amazing, to have that bond. And as far as my daughter goes, she has like a huge, family to her, and she prays every night for every single person.
Awesome. She lists them name by name.
Yes. I have to patiently wait on her, But we have a strong foundation, and that support system was needed. So
awesome, especially deciding to run for mayor. Yes. So, talk to us about that. What was your motivation? What made you want to take on the task of running for mayor of Pelahatchie?
Well, and this is a story I often tell, and it's just one day, it was put on my spirit, the Lord, like, you need to run. And I'm like, no, I'm not running. And this is a verbal out loud conversation I'm having, and the next day it's like, oh no, you need to run. And I said, well, you know what? I also made a deal. I said, if my mom says no, then that's my confirmation. I'm not running.
Right.
And it was after service, one Sunday after service, and it was 2016. And we were sitting down in her home, and we began to talk about some things, and I kind of started to allude to that. And my mom's response was, well, Shonda, if the Lord says go, you got to go. Mm-hmm. And, she didn't know the conversation I had with the Lord. She didn't know what I, was talking about and praying about. So my immediate reaction when I left from her, I started fighting the air. Like, this is not the response. What are you doing?
Yes.
And I knew that because I had already made that deal with God. I had to. I was like, well,
gotta do
here
it.
I go. So it was one of those instances. And it was funny because, leading up to even at that time, the election day, I was so just flower child, la, la, la. Like, I'm doing it. God said do it. I'm doing it. But, it doesn't matter whichever way it goes. I'm fine. And I remember that morning, my mom, Shonda, you got to get up. Your opponents, they're already out there. Have their tent set up. And I literally rolled over and said, oh, Mom, I'll be up in a minute. And she looked at me and she was like, oh, like, girl. And I started laughing. And so after a minute, I got up and got myself together and they were all laid out. And I was like, well, let me get a tent. I got a tent and started, campaigning and waving.
Right.
And one of my opponents had our signs laid out. So beautiful. I was like, you know what? I said, it looks really good, but I think we need to add something. And I went and laid my signs out just like hers. I said, that looks better.
Yeah.
But, and even at the end of the election, some people had started celebrating.
Yeah.
Saying, well, oh, we know, not me, but my other opponent. Oh, we know you got it. And my husband was just getting everything up. My husband always has been there, just making sure that we have everything picked up and handled. So at that time, I waited around and they counted, and I proceeded to check everything out. And I said, well, one guy said, you want to come back in the room with us? And I said, no, I'm going to take a BC. I had a BC and a Coke. Uh-huh. So I said, I'm going to take this BC and I'm going to sit right here and I can see the rooms. And I remember one lady said, I think you may be the mayor. And I was like, I literally sat there and I was like, no, we still have 2 more wards to go.
Right.
And I looked up and my friend was sitting beside me. And I was like, when I began to see the numbers come in, I tapped him. I was like, I think I may be the mayor. So he was like, I think so.
Yeah, I think you are the mayor.
So then everything started like, uh-oh, this is for real.
Yes.
It was an experience I'll never forget. And at the time, the next day, they counted the absentee ballots the next day. So I was up there early that morning and they announced it.
Awesome.
And it was like, I think I was just in awe.
Yes.
Like, God told me to run and then I ran and then this is the result. So,
yes.
You have a lot of people that's looking at the data and they'll say, well, it was 3 people running. This person would have, if. Mm-hmm. But at the end of, and I don't care what it is.
Yes.
God has the last say so.
That's right.
And whatever it's going to be, it's going to be.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's a good break. Good place to take a break.
Yes.
Whatever he says, it's going to be. It's going to be what it's going to be because he said so. Awesome. Okay, you guys, we're going to take a short break. We will be right back with more Woman to Woman with Joanne.
During a public health crisis, it can be hard for those facing domestic abuse to know what to do. Being confined in the same space as an abuser can increase threats to safety, and leaving an abusive relationship during a crisis can be even more difficult than normal. You can help. Ask them how they want to connect and be creative. Be supportive and believe them. Help them think through how to stay safe. Following these tips, you can help victims of domestic violence stay safe during COVID-19.
I really didn't think that I was going to get this job, but I am so excited that I did. Let's celebrate.
But what about the house?
I was so excited about getting the job. I didn't think about moving and trying to sell a house.
So how are we going to do all this?
Oh, sorry. I heard y'all were trying to sell your home. Well, look, I know a great real estate company that not only puts a sign in your yard, but they'll also market your home.
Ma'am, we're here trying to celebrate my wife's new job.
Congratulations, girl. Well, look, like I was saying, This company even allows you to choose your own marketing. They can also help you purchase a new home.
Really?
Community First Real Estate. Oops, let me go. I see some people coming in and they love to talk and invade your privacy. Bye-bye.
Call now, Community First Real Estate, 601-956-6567.
The Stephen James Foundation presents the 5th annual Old School Party with a Purpose. Saturday, May 29th at the Mississippi Trade Mart Center in Jackson. And on the deck, it's DJ Kid Capri.
Fans, DJ in the lane.
And the legendary Goody Mob. Grab your old school gear and mask up. COVID guidelines strictly enforced. It's DJ Kid Capri and Goody Mob at the 5th annual Old School Party with a Purpose. Saturday, May 29th at the Mississippi Trade Mart Center in Jackson. Benefiting Stupid Community Services. Get tickets now at eventbrite.com.
Okay, you guys, we're back. We're still here with the lovely Miss Ryshonda Beechem. So, Mayor Beechem, yes, now you've won. Talk to us about the journey of running for mayor. What opposition, if any, did you face while you were running on the trail to on the journey to becoming mayor?
Well, initially, me basically campaigning, it wasn't as bad. I'm very open and I love talking to people. And in my mind, this is my home, you know, so it was natural for me. I did the old school way. I tried to reach as many people as I could by knocking on their front doors.
Yeah.
I didn't send anybody. I went, you know. My mom, every now and then, she would go with me. But I just went on my own and talked to the people, and we spoke about the vision for Pelahatchie and some things that, you know, that we may have needed. And it was good. I enjoyed it. They all know I'm afraid of dogs. So everybody know if I'm coming, put the dog away, you know. And my daughter doesn't make it any better if she's with me. My mom's afraid of dogs.
Yes.
So. But the first go around, it was good. I don't recall really having any challenges as far as campaigning goes. You know, a little competition. You know, there was some competitiveness, and I'm used to that, being a cheerleader and a ball player and track runner. But it wasn't what I would say obstacles until I actually won the seat.
Until you won the seat.
Until I won the seat.
Talk to us about that.
Well, let me go back a little bit. There were little challenges that, I'll say this, the propaganda begun before I won. There were things that were not true that were being said, one of which, she's running because of her mom, or she's running because they let my mom go. And it wasn't true, you know, but it was out there because, you know, that's what our alderman's daughter was saying.
Right.
And, but I didn't focus on it at the time. I just focused on all the positive and what I wanted to try to do for our town. And then becoming the mayor.
Yes.
I was so excited. I remember just preparing for the first board meeting.
Yes.
I remember reading all the laws, staying up to 3 and 4 in the morning, making sure I knew, you know, everything. If I didn't understand anything, talking to some attorneys about it. Just preparing for my very first board meeting ever as the mayor. And I remember before the attorney resigned, he said, you know, in school language, he said, you did one hell of a job tonight, you know, so the expectation wasn't even there at the end. And I said, thank you so much. But in my mind, I'm saying, you have no idea how much I prepared to make sure I would do an exceptional job. But that very first meeting was, it was a slap in the face because where I was so excited to be serving as the mayor of my hometown that raised me, that the teachers that taught me, I was proud of them. And I've always been a leader. I was a student body president in high school, captain of cheerleading, captain of track. So leading, I was used to.
It's natural.
The treatment that I received, I was not used to.
Wow.
And that first meeting, the agenda was passed out to me and as well as the other aldermen. And I was not aware that the aldermen received a second agenda that was not given to me.
Oh, wow.
And as the mayor, I conduct the meeting. So I was following the agenda that I had. Mm-hmm. And all while they were planning and plotting right then. And I didn't even realize it because I was so excited. You know, we're going to work together. It's unity. And I got a rude awakening.
Wow.
We're not going to do anything you say. We don't care what you pass. We don't care who you bring. We're never going to pass it.
Wow.
On the first meeting.
Wow.
I remember closing that meeting out, holding my composure. I remember going home, talked about it with my husband, my aunt, my mom. Everybody was kind of in shock because, like, right off the bat, it was opposition and it was negative.
Wow.
And I remember them going to work the next day. And I remember dropping my child off. And I remember coming back home, closing that door, and dropping to my knees. And I prayed for probably a good 45 minutes. Because at that time, I had no clue that it was going to be this way.
Yeah.
And I just told the Lord that I needed his strength because I did not know, you know, how I was going to get through it. And I needed him to guide me. You put me here, now you got to guide me. Because I was under the impression it was going to be roses and lilies.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm like,
excited.
yes.
I was so excited. I was so excited. And after I prayed and got it out, then I shifted gears.
Yeah.
I asked the Lord to forgive me if I say anything disrespectful to my elders because of how I was raised in church. But I had to shift gears. And after I prayed about it and I knew that I had already respectfully asked for forgiveness, then I was ready to play ball.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Girl.
And that's just the first day.
It's like, Lord, I got 4 years, right? 4 years.
That was day one.
So talk to me about walking through these 4 years, because you're actually running again to be mayor.
I'm running again.
So talk to me about how that was the first day. So walk us through. How has it been since then?
It has been so much has happened since then, and I'll do what I can to minimize it. But the first year, to me, was when I got in, was check and balance. I remember asking the board for an audit before I touched anything.
Yes.
And they said no. And I remember calling the attorneys saying, you know, well, I vetoed it, but they overrode my veto. So the only power that I had as the mayor, as far as that go, was veto and power. I say that during a board meeting or running the town. Now, I oversee the day-to-day operations, and the board is considered the legislative body, and they just make the rules or set the ordinances and resolution. The board is not supposed to be or have a hand in the day-to-day operations. Now, the board initially hires and fires, normally how it goes, off a recommendation of the mayor, because the mayor is the one that have to work with the people on the day-to-day. Well, for me, it was not that way. The board would hire nobody I recommended. They will only hire the people they like instead of the people that were qualified. And that's the issue that we had for me moving forward, because we needed qualified people so that we can make sure that the business was being conducted properly. They would hire people they wanted that would basically cater to them and their needs. And what would tend to happen is the employees, I remember one employee that's currently not employed with Pelahatchie anymore, but said, they say, we don't have to do anything the mayor says.
Wow.
So I could literally go in and say, hey, I need you to print out a sign-out sheet or a sign-up sheet for it. And I will get negative feedback, or why do I need to do that? Well, what is it for? Who are we going to give it to? And I'm your supervisor, but I will get questioned.
Wow.
To that degree. Okay. And then if I said anything, well, I'm your supervisor. Well, I don't have to do anything you say. I'm not your secretary. I've been told that.
Wow.
And I've written employees up for their behavior, their conduct. their language that's also in Pelahatchie's policy book. And the board will override it.
Wow.
Basically condoning their actions. So it will it got worse instead of better, because it's almost like you let a child get away with murder. And so what are they gonna do? What are the chances?
They're gonna keep murdering.
They're gonna do it again.
What's gonna happen?
But what are the chances? If you don't have a plan, a corrective action plan in place, then what are the chances?
Right.
So, and I started looking at life differently, because we grow up and we were taught to do these things.
Right.
But then when we get in position for people to do the things for you the same way you were taught, but it's opposite. You begin to have a different view.
Right. Okay. We're going to come back and finish talking about this. Oh, 30 minutes is just not a lot of time.
At all.
Okay, you guys, we're going to take a short break. We will be right back with more Woman to Woman with Joanne.
During a public health crisis, it can be hard for those facing domestic abuse to know what to do. Being confined in the same space as an abuser can increase threats to safety, and leaving an abusive relationship during a crisis can be even more difficult than normal. You can help. Ask them how they want to connect and be creative. Be supportive and believe them. Help them think through how to stay safe. Following these tips, you can help victims of domestic violence stay safe during COVID-19.
Okay, you guys, we're back. We're still here with the lovely Miss Ryshonda Beechem. So, Ryshonda, when we left off, we were talking about the opposition that you're facing as mayor of Pelahatchie right now. Before we get back into that, tell everybody, because we have viewers not just in Mississippi, but everywhere. And they're like, what is Pelahatchie and where is it? Tell us where Pelahatchie is.
Pelahatchie is in Rankin County. We're the last town in Rankin County, actually. We're a small town, and we're located 30 minutes going east from Jackson, and we're probably about an hour from Meridian.
Okay.
So
Awesome. And that's Rankin County in Mississippi and Meridian, Mississippi.
That's right.
For my out-of-state people.
That's right.
So talk to us, continue talking with us about the opposition that you face right now being mayor, and then talk to us about what's making you want to run again.
Well, a few of the oppositions I've had to face, I'll just give you an example. I had to prove my residency before I ran, and that was done. And maybe 5-6 months later, I had to prove my residency for my child to stay in school. So a teacher or someone called basically wanting to get my child kicked out of school. And I took everything again to Rankin County, but that was hurtful, because at that time my child was in pre-K.
Right.
And love school. And, there were some teachers who was like, Miss Beechem, it was not me. It was not me. We had everything we needed for you. And, so when people do things like that, what they don't understand, it's a domino effect, and it upsets more than the party that you're trying to hurt. It affects everyone that's involved. So that was something that happened. Another thing that happened, my mom went to pay her water bill, and she wanted to ask the clerk a question, and the clerk refused to speak with her. And 3 days later, she was served with papers saying that the clerk filed papers for, what did they call it? Disturbing the peace.
Wow.
And one of the alderman's daughter approached my bench after one meeting and basically cursed me completely out, used the word. And then when I went to file papers, the alderman took his daughter to file papers and say that I used it on her. So it's been a constant there.
Wow.
Though some of the employees that were working there were told if I say for them to do something instead of them just actually doing it. Now all of this is for the town, nothing for me personally.
Definitely.
I didn't have a town vehicle. I always drove my car. I was not reimbursed for gas for any functions I went for town unless it was for one of the main conferences that's normally held in Biloxi. I had a town phone, naturally, but in a couple of meetings, the aldermen questioned that or made hostile statements toward it. Oh, she has 2 or 3 phones. I mean, I didn't understand what that mattered, But basically, if I told an employee to do something, they would contact the alderman. And instead of doing it, the mayor said to do this, and the alderman said, you don't have to do anything she says.
Wow.
You don't have to do anything the mayor says.
Wow.
To have to work in that environment like that is difficult when you're the mayor of a town and you're supervising. Now, we are a weak, what they would call weak mayor strong board structure. But the board was not to be in the day-to-day operations. And again, if you begin to do these things that are supposed to be illegal or frowned upon and you do them anyway, but there's nobody says anything, they just pop your hand and say, hey, don't do it again and laugh.
Right.
But it's not funny to the other party.
Right.
That you're insulting or disrespecting.
Right.
And people have to deal with that. And then comes the anger from the other parties, friends and family, and then becomes destruction.
Yes.
And, but some of the things, we did, they canceled all the events. They canceled all the events.
Wow.
They canceled the Christmas parade, the Easter egg that the town throws, the trunk or treats. They canceled everything.
Wow.
But I helped them. I got with some people around town and asked if they would help me. And I helped the Christmas parade, and it was one of the biggest ones we ever had. We've had 3 or 4 bands that were there. Jackson State was coming, but at the time, some of the kids had already left for school. I helped the trunk or treat event. At first, I didn't know how, it was going to turn out, but one of the sheriff at the time, he said, Mayor, come walk around the corner with me. And it was so many people, it was past our 4-way stop.
Oh, wow.
And I just started to smile, made my heart, because it's never for me. It was always for our kids of the town or the people, because they deserve so much better.
Right.
And the Easter egg hunt, one of the aldermen said, oh, just let the churches have them, But I never could understand why we couldn't. We had all the things at the towns to have it.
Right.
But we still participated. I still was active. I tried to basically make sure I showed myself around town at all times. Then when COVID hit, that was difficult for everybody in the state of Mississippi. And you had CDC guidelines that we had to follow. But we did pass out food, but this was something that was done with myself. And we partnered with Mount Carmel Baptist Church, which is my church, and other churches, Little Zion, and there were other churches around town that also partnered with us to do things like that for our people, for the community, the people in the community.
Right.
But so you have some perks, you have some pluses and some minuses, but it was a lot of minuses. But some of the positive, we got our books straight, and we have printable checks now. Like, we're trying to get our town a little bit more modernized, in the 2021.
Right.
But you mentioned that I'm running again for re-election.
Yes, I was going to say, tell us why. What is the push for you to continue to want to be the mayor with the opposition that you have faced so far?
First of all, God, He's going to lead us where He wants us to go.
Right.
Sometimes we have our own mind made up of where we want to be, and I was that person. But mostly the people. I think that the people need to be heard.
Yes.
I think that we should be there to listen to the people. I think that this position is always a self-serving position. Like you're a servant to people, and you have to have a servant's heart, you know, and treating people mean and disrespectful is not a servant's heart.
Exactly.
And when people call and they have a problem, they're already agitated. We're here to help them, you know, fix their problem.
Right.
So I prayed about it and decided to rerun again because we have so much opportunity there.
Right.
And we have a great chance right now for Pelahatchie to be even better.
Yes.
And right now, why not be the town in the state of Mississippi to show people that we can do this? You know, we can love one another. We can coexist in the same town. And to show diversity and to show love and respect, all while following the law.
That's wonderful.
You know, and I think that they deserve somebody in there that doesn't have a personal agenda.
Right.
That's not out to increase your water bills. It's not out to, you know, hurt anyone, but to actually help people. I have no personal agenda at all.
Right.
At all.
Well, Ryshonda, it's been wonderful talking with you, and my prayers go out to you for your completion of your first term and that you get reelected for a second term, because you do have a servant's heart and a heart for the people. And that's what people in every city needs in a mayor.
That's right.
There's a mayor who looks out for their well-being and who actually cares.
That's
you
right.
know, that's what we all need. So thank you so much for coming and sharing your heart with us and sharing your journey. And we are praying with you, woman to woman. And all of y'all be praying for Mayor that she complete this term and that, you know, that you win this new term so that you can continue to have a heart and serve your people.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
You're very welcome.
Okay, you guys, thank you for joining us for another episode of Woman to Woman with Joanne. We look forward to seeing y'all again next time. Bye-bye. If you would like to be a guest on the show, or if you'd like to sponsor an episode, please reach out to us. You can email us at joanne@womantowomanwithjoanne.com.